A new concept for a new decade. Match of the Day would now become a Sunday afternoon besides a Saturday night programme, and there were other modern developments. Shirt advertising became accepted on television. Live matches largely replaced recorded highlights, and the viewer was able to appreciate the action from a wider perspective. The BBC, later in the 80s, would strike a new deal with the FA. The road to Wembley brought a fresh edge to the programme. But one thing didn't change. Liverpool kept on winning throughout the 80s.
Dermot, the player on the near post. Got the back at that time. There's Peters! So easy! And Ray Clements beaten before he had a chance to touch the ball. Ryan, Fashanu, McDermott. Fairclough wide to the right. That's nice into Sammy Lee. He returns the compliment well. Chance here for Fairclough, and it's in. And the two players brought into the side this afternoon for Liverpool combined to get the equaliser. Sammy Lee. Hansen has taken over. Oh, he saw the gap too beautifully. So a lovely dummy. And Fairclough puts it in! Marvellous goal from David Fairclough. Second goal of the match, his second league goal of the season. That's a good ball. Round the Bond. Fashanu and Henson. Mendham. Padden. Reeves! All in the air until it came down to the foot of Reeves. 2-2. Neil. That's nicely back by Ray Kennedy to Dalglish. McDermott far post, Fairclough taking the same ground, now coming near and scores! And it's a hat-trick for David Fairclough. Ryan, Fashanu. Oh, what a goal! Oh, that's a magnificent goal! Didn't seem to be the room between Ray Clements' hand and the post. And John Bond still wants to make a defensive point of cover as the crowd applauds. Surely one of the best goals I've seen at Carrow Road this season. Really sweet turn by the tall man and curling high up just away from Ray Clements' hand and just inside his far right hand post for 3-3. Case. Dalglish in the box in the middle. Here is McDermott. And there's Dalglish! Here's Dalglish. Here's Case. And Kevin Bond away. And Case allowed to go on and scores. Good decision by the referee, allowing him to continue.
Two of the most successful cup teams of the 80s met in the 6th round that season.
Ardiles. Oh dear, McDermott. What a strike! Oh! McDermott has done it again!
Liverpool lost to Arsenal in a prolonged semi-final, but went on to retain their championship. Match of the day was at Anfield to see them claim the first title of the new decade.
Dalglish. Oh, and Rimmer came. McDermott. Johnson! Oh, what a start! Let's Geddes up. It's going to come to Hurd. And there goes Geddes again. Linton. Oh, is there an own goal by Abby Cohen? Is it? It's gone out the far post. Johnson making space. Finding Dalglish. Hung on well there. And here comes Abby Cohen. Oh, I say! At the same end, he's got one back. Dirt. Kennedy with Lee outside him. Sooners wants it played in. There he is. Touched off for David Johnson. Oh! That's the championship. Taken by McDermott. Kennedy's coming in here. Oh, it's
in! Shirt sleeves were now in order for Jimmy and Bob on a Sunday afternoon.
Good afternoon. Welcome to Match of the Day at the start of a new season, at a new time, with a few new ideas. But as always, the heart of the programme will be the football action.
Spurs, big spenders in the 70s, started the 80s with a new strike force, Archibald and Crooks.
Smith. Wanted Crooks to make a hole for him. Crooks is away! Oh, that's beautiful! Oh, that's brilliant! Well, that will certainly do for starters.
Also starting out on a memorable season were Ipswich Town.
What could be useful for Gates? Oh, Mariner is just inside. This is Tyson, though. Only Gates could have seen Mariner the other way. That could have been very promising. Here's Gates again, though. Turned it in beautifully. Oh, John Walk! John Walk got his head to it and puts Ipswich in front.
Bobby Robson's team would be UEFA Cup winners, FA Cup semi-finalists and First Division runners-up.
Here's Gates. Here's McCall. Here's Tyson, the dribbler. Mariner. Brazil, Brazil! 1-0 to Ipswich. Alan Brazil, the scorer. And Brian Roberts for Coventry. Header by Osman. Gates has begun a run through the centre here. Oh, he was well found too, and oh, here's Gates. Number 2 is it? It is. 2 minutes into the second half, and Eric Gates has scored the second goal for Ipswich. Gates. Roberts. Thompson. Left it for Hunt. Oh, they've won it back again. Osman's up there. And so is McCall. Oh, what a tremendous goal! Steve McCall. And John Walk, who's injured today and whose place he took, will have sat back and admired that like the rest of us. So Mariner and Butcher taking up the near post positions on this corner to be taken by Gates. Tyson's there as well. Short to him, here's Gates again. Osman's in there. Oh, and Steely's made a bad mistake, and it's 4.
The club who edged Ipswich out of the Championship were the resurgent Aston Villa. They showed their pedigree against the defending champions Liverpool.
Ollie again. Oh, he beat Money too easily. Gary Shaw. West! And Villa take the lead. Leaving it to Shaw. On through to Mortimer. It was onside. Could this be number 2? Yes! This is Williams.
And here's Tony Morley. Good running by him. Oh, what a great goal! 4 minutes gone and Tony Morley scores a cracker. Offside appeals. No, it's play on, and Mortimer's right through for Aston Villa against the keeper. And it's 2-1, and they've beaten the offside trap, and Mortimer scores. Villa went on to take over Liverpool's mantle, winning the title for which their fans had waited so long. Manager Ron Saunders used only 14 players in a First Division campaign which ended amid great excitement at Highbury. And the referee's blown, and they're going for the dressing room as the crowd comes on, because Aston Villa, beaten here 2-0, doesn't matter. They are the champions for the first time since 1910. Liverpool's satisfaction that season came from their 3rd European Cup triumph and the first of 4 consecutive League Cup wins.
Alan Kennedy's post forward. There's Irwin. Bonds at the back. Martin only to Alan Kennedy, who puts it in! And Alan Kennedy, no! No, it's not going to count. It's not going to count. They're going over to the linesman. Is it going to count? Yes, it is going to count. And Alan Kennedy has scored with his right foot. Ray Stewart poised. Oh, magnificent save by Ray Clements. They all go to congratulate him. And he's kept the Football League Cup in Liverpool's hands. Neighbour with the corner. Alvin Martin hit the crossbar. Penalty. It was handled up by Terry McDermott. And so Ray Stewart, 6 of his 7 goals this season have come from the penalty spot, but none as important as this. And he puts it in.
Liverpool won the replay against West Ham at Villa Park, a ground which also staged a tense semi-final in the FA Cup. And Manchester City with Power and Mackenzie on the ball here this time. Power. Oh, I say, what a goal! John Bond done a remarkable job in turning City's fortunes round since arriving in the autumn. He achieved First Division respectability and now a place at Wembley thanks to his captain. The skipper, who has scored in every cup match bar one. In the final, City succumbed only to genius. Villa. And still Ricky Villa. What a fantastic run. He scored. Amazing goal by Ricky Villa. The 100th FA Cup final and the first replay at Wembley was settled by a truly great goal. It was also a time of celebration for John Toshak, whose Swansea City reached the First Division only 4 years after he joined them in the 4th. And they weren't just entering the big league to make up the numbers.
Oh, beautiful ball. Curious if he can get around Cherry. Well, choosing a beautiful... Oh, that's a lovely dummy, and it could be a goal. It is! Jeremy Charles scored it. Heard. Well, almost a successful 1-2 with Brian Flynn. Harris. Danger for the Swans. Oh, that should be a chance. In fact, it's a goal. Derek Parling, an easy goal. Chance for a goal. Oh, what a goal! What a goal for Bob Latchford! What a goal! What a shot! James there again. Leighton James. Robinson. Across the face, and it was Latchford with another goal for Swansea City. Leighton James again, on the ball, on the set piece. Latchford's header, it's a goal! So easy! Rajkovic in before Harris. The feed to Alan Curtis, perfect. Cherry's with him. Oh, what a sidestep! What a shot and what a goal!
In the autumn of 1981, Toshak and millions more paid their last respects to the great Bill Shankly, maker of the modern Liverpool. It was Toshak's chance to acknowledge his debt to the Kop, but on the day his Swansea side forced a 2-2 draw, emphasising Liverpool's indifferent start to that season. At the turn of the year, they were in the bottom half of the table.
It's a good ball in behind the Liverpool defence, and Reeves is onto it. Well for the cross too, and Kinsey, Hartford rather, getting in and scoring a superb goal. And this one will count. Oregon's kick is stretching Thompson, and the header dropping to Reeves, and Thompson gets it clear. Grobbelaar goes up and drops it again, and that's a penalty. Thompson turning it over, Grobbelaar made the mistake, Kinsey fired to the top corner of the net, and Thompson had no option but to do what his goalkeeper perhaps should have done in the first place and make a decent save. So City could go 2 ahead here. And do. And a fine ball. There's Kinsey. Francis screaming for it on the edge of the box. Reeves with a back flick, and it's gone in! And Grobbelaar's misery is complete. Reeves gets the goal, but really it was almost an own goal by this sad figure of Bruce Grobbelaar.
The festive season brought new words to an established tune.
Many famous players, we think you will agree. They're spread throughout the country, and some play locally. But where throughout the whole wide world, on turf or mud or clay, will you see such splendid football shots?
Well, sensational, wasn't it?
Not sure about that, Jim, but what was sensational was the way Liverpool stormed back in the new year. They lost only 2 league games between Boxing Day and the last Saturday of the season, when Tottenham were the visitors.
Hoddle. And Hoddle strikes one. Oh, a beautiful goal!
Ray Clements had left Liverpool for Spurs at the start of that season.
And a fantastic reception from the Kop for Ray Clements at the beginning of the second half. And he responds.
But he couldn't stop Liverpool regaining the championship.
In comes Lawrenson. 52 minutes gone, and Mark Lawrenson equalises. Neil. Souness. Lee. Dalglish. He's up there. Oh, Dalglish is through. Kenny Dalglish! Clements had no chance at all. But it looks like 5 now in the last 7 seasons under Bob Paisley. Miller's header. It's going to come to Whelan. And Whelan makes it 3-1. And that is the championship now.
This was the first of 3 consecutive championships for Liverpool. They also beat Tottenham in the Milk Cup final. Like Swansea the year before them, Watford completed the heady journey from 4th Division to 1st. Graham Taylor became one of the managers of the 80s as he built a club with a strong family image, a high-profile benefactor in Elton John, and an explosive local discovery called John Barnes. Some people called the Watford style percentage football.
Jenkins coming onto the near post. Blissett just behind him. Blissett gets up, there's a flick on there. Barnes tries to make it, and Jenkins, I think it was already over the line by Barnes. Penalty now to be taken by Luther Blissett. Having a conversation first with Andy Peake. He always turns the other way, Blissett, before he takes them. Oh, great stop by Wallington, but Blissett puts it in. Oh, well, how many more things can go against Leicester? There's Callaghan. Blocked there by Peake, but he's still there. Blissett on the near post. Barnes! 3-0.
Now, as regards style, and I leave it for all the experts to decide what style we're giving. I mean, certainly we've been described in various quarters sometimes as simply a kick and rush side. I find that quite amazing that people in the game can say, well, there's a kick and rush side, and there we are sitting second in the division with 70-odd goals scored, only 30-odd conceded. If it is as simple as that, then I think that everybody ought to kick and rush it. But you know as well as I do, John, it's not that.
Watford finished second in Division 1 a year later. The goal of the season came at the Hawthorns.
Regis taking it well on the chest, and a lovely piece of control by Regis. Oh, and what a great shot! Oh, one of the goals of the season, Cyril Regis.
Leicester goalkeeper Mark Wallington's injury in an FA Cup quarter-final against Shrewsbury led to a rare sight. Striker Alan Young took over his jersey, and so too for a spell did Steve Linex. But using 3 goalkeepers in one match didn't stop Leicester and a young Gary Lineker reaching the semi-final.
It's cutting in a lot. The goalkeeper's in trouble, and May scores. Taking away now. And it comes down to Bates, who puts it in. Chick Bates, it's his 3rd goal in the FA Cup competition. Out by May, only to cross. Bates, Kelly, and he gets the punch to it, to Wallington, and he tries a punch again, and it goes all the way. And Wallington with a face of dejection, Kelly saying now, surely he's got to come off. Lineker, Wilson. Stirring stuff from the home team. And here's May. Hit Griffin. Oh, his back pass has gone in! And an own goal. Timmy Williams to take the free kick. Peake. Linex. Melrose, yes! And he's up on his lap of honour, and on the other side of the pitch there's another party celebration going on, because the man who was in goal until only a few seconds ago is the man who supplied the cross. There he is, Steve Linex. Halfway through the second half, Leicester 3, Shrewsbury 2. And here's Melrose with a good turn, and Lineker, really fine move. Wilson, Linex, Lineker has recovered, Melrose is in the middle, and scores!
Leicester then lost to holders Tottenham, while in the other semi-final at Highbury there was victory for 2nd Division Queen's Park Rangers over 1st Division West Brom.
And Allen. And Fenwick. And now Micklewhite. And Hazel. And Ali Robertson, oh, and it's gone in! Clive Allen didn't know much about it, but he scored!
Rangers lost to Spurs in a replay at Wembley, and the 1981-82 season reached its climax with the World Cup finals in Spain. Kevin Keegan, who missed nearly the whole World Cup through injury, surprised the football world with a summer move from Southampton to Newcastle. He became a Tyneside folk hero, much as Malcolm MacDonald had once been. although McDonald's Fulham gave Keegan an early shock.
Houghton. Davis. Houghton was coming through. Wilson turned it on. Here's Gordon Davis. Well, what a good finish from one of the best goal scorers outside the First Division. Gordon Davis scores his 9th goal of the season. Houghton. Davis to his left. And Coney! What a good goal by Fulham, who go 2 up within seconds of being forced to make a substitution. It's Houghton on the ball. Good effort. What a brilliant goal from a man who's dominated the first half, Ray Houghton. A free transfer from West Ham. He's made the first 2 goals and he's scored the 3rd. Martin, Anderson, Varady, Keegan, he's gone down, penalty. A foul by Tony Gale, says the referee. Keegan wins something for Newcastle. I'm not sure he's convinced it was a penalty from his gesture, but the referee, in response to a great bellow from the Gallagate end, has given Newcastle a penalty kick and maybe a lifeline. And Keegan, who scored from the spot at Rotherham, now against Payton, and puts Newcastle back into the match. The Fulham players still arguing among themselves. Gordon Davis pulling away to the left-hand side of the field. Houghton coming up in support. Still Dean Coney, and it's gone through the goalkeeper and Davis! 4-1.
On Merseyside, Match of the Day dropped in on one of the most one-sided derbies for years, and one man made local history.
Rush to his left. Onside, Ian Rush. 1-0 Liverpool. Brilliant goal. Marvellously made by Alan Hansen. And put away by Ian Rush with the minimum fuss. There's Hansen. Rush. Deflection. Has taken it in. Oh, he's got free, Dalglish. And put in by Lawson. What a simple goal. And Liverpool here have got Everton on the rack. Dalglish. Look at that. Rushes through. This could be history here for Ian Rush if he scores. He's at the post. He might score now. He has. And it's the first hat-trick in a Merseyside derby since 1935. And this is where Liverpool have made the game look so easy. They've come out of defence, got into their stride, and seem to get an extra man through. It's Ian Rush. Can he score his 4th? It looks as though he has. Yes! 5-0.
For Steve McMahon, then an Everton player, a sign of things to come. He would become Kenny Dalglish's first signing for Liverpool. But in that season, the Reds held off the challenge of Elton's Watford to hold on to their championship.
Neil's clearance to Dalglish, beautiful turn. Oh, and on for Rush, got a perfect through ball. And what a brilliant goal. Ian Rush celebrates the goal, but Kenny Dalglish, the creator supreme.
In an effort to keep up with Liverpool, the 2 Manchester clubs splashed out on strikers.
Reeves, McDonald, Reeves, Kevin Reeves. Koffel. That's a good cross, and it's in. Stapleton has repeated the medicine. Stapleton! And he beats Kevin Bond, he got in front of him. And the ball just beat the left hand of Joe Corrigan.
Former City boss Malcolm Allison saw his Middlesbrough suffer on football's new artificial surface.
Roda, what a lovely piece of skill. Finds Flanagan, who lets it run through to Micklewhite. What a goal this could be. What a goal it is. Marvellous goal by Queen's Park Rangers. And a goal of classic simplicity, which could be followed very quickly here. Seeley onto it, now Gregory, and Flanagan is in space, and that's two! Two goals in the space of 20-odd seconds. What a remarkable way for this game to come to life. Waddock's clearance. Wood forward, and Segru is unmarked and onside, but couldn't finish. He could still. Remarkable incident. There was a claim for handball, and the referee has indeed given the penalty. So Borough, with Mick Kennedy to take it, could pull one back and have. Nicely struck penalty by Mick Kennedy. Dangerous here. Seeley flicks it on, and it's in. Clive Allen has done it. From the free kick, a little flick on by Seeley, and this time Malcolm Allison's smile disappears. Oh, and this time the late arrival from a corner has paid off for Gregory. Now comes to Micklewade, and Waddock is in space, and it comes to Allen, and what a superb finish by Clive Allen. Queen's Park Rangers score 5 for the first time this season. Flanagan again. Gregory knocking it in. Seeley, Flanagan, Gregory took over, and it's a hat-trick for Clive Allen. What a finish.
The Milk Cup final saw holders Liverpool face Manchester United in Bob Paisley's last season as manager. It was Ron Atkinson's second year at Old Trafford. Could United prevent Liverpool's League Cup hat-trick?
McQueen looks for Whiteside. Took it down beautifully, turned away from Hansen. Whiteside! What a fantastic goal by the 17-year-old. Johnston. Lee. Again, the outlet is the fullback, Kennedy. It's in! Here's Dalglish. Shot struck Macari. Kennedy. Whelan. And again, Whelan's scored it! Brilliant goal! Ronnie Whelan, who got two last year against Spurs, has scored the second for Liverpool today. This man has won 19 major prizes, and he finishes up quite rightly and properly as a winner. And all Bob will say, I'm sure, is thanks to his players, and the championship is still to come.
Indeed it was. Liverpool finished 11 points clear of Watford.
Shy, reluctant leader has been persuaded that this is his position on his last day here. The climax of 9 remarkable seasons in charge of Liverpool Football Club. But he stands back to allow his captain Graham Souness to accept the League Championship trophy, but the captain immediately passes it to the boss.
A Yugoslav substitute changed the course of two clubs' history when Luton Town went to Main Road on the last day of the season, knowing they had to win to survive in the First Division. For Manchester City, a draw would be enough to keep them up and send David Pleat's team down. It was one of the most gripping pieces of football theatre ever produced by Match of the Day.
Come on, keep it going! Come on, Rennie!
5 minutes left, and Horton's pass intercepted by Baker, and he didn't get a good touch on the ball. Aylock got it instead. Steen drove it low against Caton, and Steen again, and he gets the cross in, and Williams has come. Antish! Oh, it's there! They've done it! Ruddy Antish! 4 minutes from the end. David Pleat off the bench. He knows there's still 4 minutes to go. They surely mustn't let the celebrations go on too long. But as the ball was cleared, Radiantish, the substitute, drove it through a crowd of players and has Luton's life in the harsh world of the English First Division been saved by a Yugoslav. And the header out was by Alot, which is just insurance really, because they'll be asking the referee Luton how much longer he's going to add on. Forward by Caton. Bond, Kinsey. And that's it! Luton Town have survived! David Pleat on the pitch. He's kept them up. What an amazing act of escapology here by Luton. But as they celebrate, Manchester City, one of the most accomplished clubs of a few years ago, are relegated. They go down before their own supporters to a goal by Radiantish, the Yugoslav whose future at Luton has been in doubt all season, whose contribution has been fitful at times, but who has scored a goal which has made history for his club.
And I think at the end of the day, the lads have been smiled upon, but I do believe they deserve to be smiled upon, because I think that this season they've gone into the First Division, many of them young players. You know, only Brian Horton has played regularly in the First Division before. And for the other players to go in the First Division and try to take the game to other teams. And in the process, we've suffered. We've had some horrible results. We've had some horrible home results. But at the end of the day, they've come through it. And if there's justice, I just feel sad that it happened to be a game which was so crucial to two teams, so the other team has to go. Maybe they would have been just as sad for us. I would have rather, if we won here, we put someone else down elsewhere. But I just feel that every player has worked hard. Why I'm popular, I'll tell you that, because in training they put the ball through my legs regularly, and it's easy for them, and I think that's good.
Well, I think the one thing that is certain, David, is that when they put it through your legs next season, it'll still be as a First Division club. Congratulations to you and to all the squad, those that didn't play today as well. We look forward to seeing you in the First Division again next season.
Good evening and a warm welcome to Match of the Day, back once again on Saturday night.
Back in its old slot, the programme returned with a thriller from the Villa.
This is Regis. Martin Joel. Oh, and Kloss was in there, and so too was Zondervan. Romeo Zondervan, the goal scorer. And Albion take the lead after 5 minutes.
Albion have called everybody back to defend. Mortimer to Gibson.
Oh, and Alan Evans was there. The new Villa captain equalises with a good header.
Forward by Evans. And Shaw shakes off McNaught and finds Walters,
who turned well. Oh, it's gone straight through Barron.
Cross.
Thompson. Oh, I say, this is some game. It's 2-2. Oh, and with Shaw. Where's it all going to stop? Gary Shaw for Aston Villa.
Villa Park buzzing with 5 goals to talk about in the first half, but it's not over yet. That was Nicky Cross to Zondervan, who started it all off, and he's got Regis going through for Albion. What a fine save by Spink.
And Regis has got the ball back, and he scored. Amazing. Ormsby. And it's his first ever goal for Aston Villa. Brendan Ormsby.
Over at Anfield, Liverpool promoted from within again, Joe Fagan succeeding Bob Paisley. His brief was simple: to win a third consecutive championship and preferably a couple of cups as well.
Straight on, by Dalglish to Rush, and it's in at last.
And that's a useful ball for Dalglish. And here's Rush, deflection, Robinson, good save, Johnston. That's a fine ball, Hansen to Rush. They seem to find angles other teams don't appreciate. Lee, Dalglish, Lee again, Robinson, back heel to Dalglish, surely, yes it was. It's on here, and Dalglish has scored a quite magnificent goal.
All of which made it a bumpy start for Charlie Nicholas, who'd chosen Arsenal ahead of Liverpool and Manchester United. United hosted the first ever live match of the day, a Friday night special at Old Trafford against Spurs.
Graham. Oh, and Stevens let it go, it's in! Arthur Graham played that ball in, and Gary Stevens let it go, and Spurs are stunned. And Hoddle, O'Reilly's forward again with a header. Brazil's in there. Oh, that's a fine goal, Alan Brazil. After 54 minutes. Corner to Manchester United at the Stretford end. Right across, and it's been driven in by Moran. Kevin Moran makes it 2-1. And Moran's in there again. So too on the far side was Arthur Graham. And he makes it 3-1. O'Reilly looks for Falco. Ardiles touch, and Falco's in, and it's a goal. Well, talk about instant action from the man who's just come on. Falco the scorer, but Ardiles makes a goal with his first touch in league football since last February. And Manchester United, who lead 3-2, have a free kick, which Ray Wilkins and Arnold Meeran are preparing for. And indeed, that was Meeran, and Stapleton got up. Oh, it's a mistake by Ray Clements, and a goal.
2 each for Kevin Moran and Arthur Graham. But when Liverpool went live on a Friday night and trailed 1-0 to Aston Villa, Ian Rush went one better.
There's Gary Shaw. And here's Ian Rush. Another chance for him. Williams couldn't get to him. And that's 1-1. And Liverpool have got a player over here in this attack. This is Souness. And Nicola's the man coming in for the header. And Rush was on the far side. Oh, what a tremendous shot. Well, they had a player over, and it was Ian Rush. See it from a different angle. Nicol got up to flick it on, and Aston Villa had lost their bearings a bit in defence, but don't blame anybody for that. Here's Steve Nicol. Oh, and he's hovering again. There is Rush. Well, I say, the man just can't be stopped. It's a hat-trick.
And Liverpool made it a hat-trick of championships, emulating Huddersfield and Arsenal before the war. They also won their 4th European Cup and their 4th successive League Cup. But the FA Cup defied logic again. 3rd Division Plymouth Argyle found themselves in the semi-final against Watford.
But here's Barnes. Riley's coming towards the near post. Oh, he got a fleck and it's there! George Riley came in, and Watford are in front after 13 minutes.
Disappointment for Plymouth and their manager, Little John Hoare. They came so close to becoming the first 3rd Division side to reach the FA Cup final. But for Watford, another landmark in their rise from the lower divisions under Graham Taylor, even though they lost at Wembley to Everton. The end of that 1983-84 season saw an emotional farewell to Kevin Keegan at Newcastle. He retired at the age of 33 after leading them back into the promised land of the First Division. And his last home league match against Brighton turned into a massive Geordie farewell, as Keegan's messianic qualities were acknowledged by a public who'd warmed to him so readily in just 2 memorable years. At St James's Park, the little man was simply a big hero. The Geordies still bemoan not just the loss of Keegan, but the departures soon after of Chris Waddle and then Peter Beardsley. What an attack that was, and what a legacy they left.
Anderson now for Newcastle. The crowd willing this goal. Keegan, Beardsley, Waddle. It's hit the post and Keegan! He's done it! Truick. In it comes again to Keegan. And a fine cross to Waddle. Oh, yes! Keegan proves, as he has done so often through his career, he's not just a scorer of goals, he's a creator too. Carney with the clearance. Getting with a spectacular attempt to clear, but it drops for Beardsley. And Keegan. And Beardsley again. And Beardsley still. Oh, magnificent! What a great goal by Peter Beardsley! And that is rounding it off in style. And Kevin Keegan would have been proud of that one himself. And that's the final whistle and the final chapter in one of the most remarkable and moving stories in English football history. Kevin Keegan, after 16 years and 500 league games, has rounded off his career in the style which literally made him the hero and the great player he is.
I just wanted to thank them from the bottom of my heart, as I say, for the way they've received me and my family, and they're just super people. And I've been, I suppose the only regret I've ever had in football is that they never saw me at my peak. I would have loved to have played here at my peak. You know, I mean, I'm just a little bit over the top now. Whatever I've given Tyneside, and you know, praise has been showered on me this last few weeks. It's given me 100 times as much. It gave me a boost when I needed it most after the World Cup, and I just thank the people up here. And I hope I'm always their friend. I can tell them one thing: they'll always be my friends up here. You know? Thank them very much.
Jimmy set the pattern for the new season.
The 1984 Cannon League season began today, and in the First Division, the big question to be answered: has any of Liverpool's rivals the ability and the stamina to lead them after 42 games?
One club believed the answer was yes. Howard Kendall's Everton, the FA Cup holders, were ready to take over the championship.
Reed, Stevens, looking for Sharp, and he got behind Lawrence, and there did Sharp! What a fantastic goal! An unbelievable finish from Graham Sharp.
Everton went on to win their first league title for 15 years. Liverpool recovered to finish second.
Of the Royal Marines welcome you to Wembley, as do the BBC Sports team covering the Milk Cup final between Norwich City and Sunderland.
It was good to see fresh colours at Wembley. The Canaries were in fine voice, their veterans ready for one last song.
Good play by John Dean, it's still in. Shannon, good tackle. Oh, and it's an own goal. Came off Chisholm. Asa Hartford claiming it. But it got a deflection. But here's Benison, Sunderland skipper. Handball! Definitely handball by Dennis Van Wyk. Penalty. No question about it. Oh, an opportunity spurned. And there's the most relieved man at Wembley.
But Norwich's relief didn't last too long. Although their supporters rejoiced for manager Ken Brown on that sunny afternoon in March, when Dave Watson was presented with the club's first glamorous trophy, a few weeks later Norwich were relegated. So too were their Wembley opponents Sunderland, who felt the full force of Everton's assault on the championship.
Bracewell, on again for Reid. Well played. Reid's cross, Gray! What a fantastic goal! Beautiful goal. 34 minutes gone, and Everton produce one right out of the textbook. Sharp is up with Chisholm. Here's Bracewell. Goes back again to Stephen. Gray's there again! Oh, I say! Another great header. Stephen away from Pickering. Yes! Another superb goal. Bracewell, and they're in trouble, Sunderland. Gray to Sheedy. Off the defender, and in.
Everton were going for the treble. Their defence of the FA Cup brought a semi-final at Villa Park.
Harford's there. And here's Hill. Hill! Beautifully taken. And Luton deserve their lead. Is Sheedy going to curl one? He drove one. It's there! Sheedy! Everton have equalised. Sheedy curls it, Mountfield's there, and it's a goal! Derek Mountfield! And the free kick does the trick again, and Everton, the holders, are in front for the first time. Kevin Sheedy curled the kick. Derek Mountfield came in for the header. It's his 10th goal of the season, the big centre-half. And it's by far the sweetest for him and for the Evertonians.
But a sweet curling shot from Norman Whiteside meant Everton left Wembley with losers' medals this time, 3 days after winning the European Cup Winners' Cup. The events at Heysel meant they couldn't test themselves in the Champions' Cup. And there was also a summer of discontent on the TV front. Jimmy came back in January.
Play the music.
The nation had new names and new faces to learn fast. West Ham's Frank McAvenny, for instance.
And a miscue by Humphrey, and McAvenny. Can he do it? It looks as though it's going in for Tony Cottee. West Ham score with 2 minutes to go.
This fellow had 2 jobs in one. Kenny Dalglish stepped into Joe Fagan's shoes immediately after the Heysel disaster, Liverpool's first player manager. With no European football, he had 2 major targets, the FA Cup and the Championship.
Rash has gone on. Finds himself 1 against 1. It's Craig Johnston. Walsh. Yes! Nicol. Walsh. Always looks capable of setting something up for Liverpool. Craig Johnston's cross. Rush! Yes! short, and here's Walsh. No doubt now.
That was Hansen heading down, Thomas miscued, and Rush played it back, and Whelan fired it, and it came to Mulvey, and that's the equaliser that Liverpool have been threatening to score. Oh, a misjudgment by Perryman, and here's Whelan. Rush is through the middle, danger here, and Rush, and a goal! They have done it! Kenny Dalglish thrilled to bits. And headed by McCarthy, here's Mulvey. Rush is in there. Oh, and it fell to McMahon! McMahon has scored!
Hansen, Dalglish, here's Mulvey, and now Johnston, and he fires it across McMahon!
Liverpool hauled themselves back to the front of the championship race by winning 11 and drawing 1 of their last 12 games.
This is the Canon League Championship trophy for which Liverpool, Everton and West Ham still compete on the final Saturday of the season. Nothing can stop Liverpool becoming champions if they beat Chelsea at Stamford Bridge.
And Speedy's in there, McAllister's there, and that one flies across the goal as well.
If Liverpool fail to collect 3 points, they could be caught on Monday night by Everton. That's if they beat Southampton today.
Cockerell, they're appealing for offside. Lawrence, oh, what a good strike! And a fine save.
And both Merseyside clubs could be overtaken by West Ham on Monday, providing they win today at the Hawthorns against West Bromwich Albion.
He's put it into his path. Oh, what a good shot by Cotty.
And that means quite a match of the day coming up.
It was time for the manager to be counted as a player. At Stamford Bridge, he and Liverpool knew precisely what was expected.
Gillespie, Beglin again. Whelan. And Dalglish is in here. Yes! The player-manager scores the goal that may edge Liverpool nearer to their 16th championship. And Jim Beglin's presence in the Liverpool attack was so important. He had the earlier shot, he stayed forward, and when Dalglish got free, that was an unerring finish. And Liverpool Football Club have won the First Division title for the 16th time in Kenny Dalglish's first season as player-manager. What an achievement.
Dalglish, bringing himself back into the team, had galvanised Liverpool.
I think that it has been a turning point for them, him playing, because I think he's one of the best players of all time. And I think his return to the Liverpool side has certainly sparked them off again.
Kendall's team, and Gary Lineker in particular, could hardly have done more.
Stephen. Lineker. Goal number 35 of the season. Stephen. Bracewell. And still, Lineker. But he didn't hit it quite truly. But he doesn't care, and neither do the crowd. His second, Everton's fourth. And by Heath. Yes, that's six. And that's Lineker's hat-trick.
Despite Lineker's marksmanship, Everton were runners-up and had to try to balance the scales against Liverpool in the first all-Merseyside FA Cup final. Either that, or Liverpool would become only the third team this century to do the double, at the expense of their greatest adversaries. Dalglish's men would have the last word, but the Footballer of the Year struck first with his 40th goal of the season.
Now Reid. Lineker off through the centre again. This is promising. Lineker for Everton. Saved by Grobbelaar. Lineker. 1-0 to Everton. Here's Whelan. Mulvey. And here's Rush. Onside. Ian Rush. Goal. The referee was knocked over in the excitement, but Ian Rush has equalised for Liverpool.
Rush. Dalglish is up, so is Mulvey here. Dalglish, no, Johnston, yes! 2-1 to Liverpool. This is Whelan. That's Johnston. This is Rush. Mulvey again. Oh, I say, his vision there was lovely. Whelan. And Rush is on the far side. Is this 3? It is! Ian Rush again. And surely now, the double is about to be won. Liverpool have won the double.
The new season saw a hardened Everton determined not to finish second again. As live matches on a Sunday afternoon took over from recorded highlights, the Match of the Day audience had an early taste of Kendall's revenge.
Good header by Sharp. Power. Good cross. Sharp. Hit the bar. And in. Stapleton's in there. It's going to come to Robson. Oh, through a crowd of players and in. Sharp. Watson's in there. Sheedy. Goal. Everton are back in front in stoppage time at the end of the first half. And here's Sharp against Moran, and he's put Langley through. Heath's coming inside to join him. There's Heath. Oh, that's a superb goal.
Everton went on to retrieve their championship, but they got shoved rudely aside in the FA Cup by the new upstarts of the First Division. No team was keen to go to Plough Lane, but the cameras couldn't ignore Wimbledon.
We're going to be in for a ding-dong cup tie if it's like this. Trevor Stephen. Little touch for Heath. Good position for Adrian Heath. The goalkeeper's had it. Wilkinson's in the middle. It's a goal for Everton. Certainly Wimbledon have dominated the territorial play for some time. Here's Fashanu. Now he's got Sayer in the middle. Stevens to beat, and Stevens brings him down. Penalty! A penalty to Wimbledon. And he went that way. Saved, and it's gone in, yes! Hodges following up with Gage. Quarter of an hour gone in the second half. Wimbledon 1, Everton 1. Up goes the kick from Dave Besant, and down it comes on Fairweather's head, and Sayer is in here. It's Sayer, good stop. Fashanu for Wimbledon. It's a goal. They're in front. And a further chapter in this remarkable Wimbledon story could be written here today. Fashanu, Sayer! Sayer! Yes, it's there! It's 3-1, and surely they've done it now! Andy Sayer. And Wimbledon carve another huge hole in the Everton defence, and maybe carve another niche in history.
Wimbledon lost to Spurs in the 6th round when the real drama came at Highbury.
Sims and Quinn together again, forward by Adams. Rostron with Groves, Hayes trying to sneak in, and McClelland away. Oh, Allinson! John McClelland in a terrible mix-up with Tony Coton, and Ian Allinson took advantage. Good turn by David Bardsley. Blissett, good goal. Simple, but so well executed. Bardsley. And he's gone round Sansom. Barnes has come in. Oh, a fine goal by John Barnes. Quinn with Sims. Oh, the flag's up on the far side. The referee hasn't seen it. Blissett's away for Watford. Controversy here looming. He's onside, is Blissett, and Lukic is saved, and Blissett again. A goal. But Arsenal must go back to the referee because the linesman on the far side was flagging in the previous attack. He wasn't seen. The referee played on, and Blissett scored at the other end. But he's right to consult his linesman because there was a flag. Whether it was for a penalty, I'm not sure, because the linesman raised the flag, the referee didn't look across, so we never saw it go across his chest. But did he see a foul or not at the other end in the previous attack? Because his flag was certainly up. Now what does Brian Stevens do here? Involved in controversy in the Arsenal-Watford fixture for the second time running this season, and he has awarded a goal to Watford.
But there was adequate compensation for Arsenal in George Graham's first season in the Littlewoods Cup.
Rush. Mulby. That's a great ball. This is Steve McMahon. O'Leary coming across. He's left Rush. It's such a familiar sight. Arsenal caught absolutely dead. Look at them poised. You think it was just out of 100 metres. Davis hit the wall. Sanson. Anderson. Adams. Nicholas off the post. Anderson. Yes, it's got in. It's Charlie. Charlie Nicholas has done it. Sanson. Groves. He's away from Gillespie. Nicholas and Rocastle in the area. Nicholas! Yes! Good a deflection, I think.
Quite a year for North London at Wembley. Spurs, going for their 8th win in 8 FA Cup finals, were 2-1 up against Coventry City.
Regis, Houchin. Bennett. Brilliant goal! Keith Houchin, the man with the Midas touch in the FA Cup, strikes goal for Coventry.
One of the best finals in recent years was won by Coventry at extra time. Their 3-2 victory put a smile on the face of football, as well as the faces of John Sillett and George Curtis. They show that the game was still there to be enjoyed. So did John Barnes when he signed for Liverpool in the summer of 1987. A season without trophies meant Dalglish spent boldly, signing Peter Beardsley and John Aldridge. The effect was instant.
Here's Barnes. Number 7, Beardsley. And there goes Barnes again. Danger here. Aldridge far post. John Anderson and Steve Nicol. What a simple goal for Liverpool, and Steve Nicol puts it away with some aplomb. Lawrenson has now found room in the Newcastle penalty area. This is Venison. And here's Barnes. And Aldridge this time, 2-0. Onside, Beardsley. Nichols in the centre, completely unmarked as yet. There he is again. 3-0. 20 minutes gone in the second half. Newcastle United 1, Liverpool 3. And Aldridge releasing Nicol on the far side, Beardsley in the middle. It's still Nicol, he's gone all the way, and that is the hat-trick.
Queen's Park Rangers were the early leaders of the First Division until they came to Anfield.
Barnes cross, oh, Greg Johnston! Oh, Byrne wanting a long time to clear that, he dwelt on it too long. Barnes, and Barnes again, 3. Won it. He won it from Brock. He's got Beardsley going to his left. It's still Barnes. That's a fabulous individual goal.
Next came champions Everton.
That's great. From Barnes to McMahon. Barnes. Oh, lovely back heel. McMahon. Aldridge, good challenge. Beardsley! Oh, that's a lovely goal. That's a lovely goal.
By the new year, when Arsenal were visitors, Liverpool were unstoppable.
Barnes took on Caesar. Still Barnes, brilliant. Houghton couldn't convert. McMahon, free in the way. Tony Adams had got a foot to it. Well, McMahon won that back wonderfully well. Beardsley. Oh, a goal for Aldridge. Right on half-time, it's John Aldridge. Aldridge. Beardsley. Oh, brilliantly done by Peter Beardsley.
In the FA Cup, Liverpool looked just as formidable, especially in the semi-final.
Barnes is on the left wing, running past Chettle now. Well found by McMahon. Aldridge is in the centre. Still Barnes. Penalty. Penalty to Liverpool. And it's down now to John Aldridge, who scores. Barnes. Aldridge is there. Aldridge! And exactly the same again. Liverpool come out of defence and snatch a vital goal.
The combination play of Beardsley, Barnes and Aldridge was a sparkling feature of the season, and there was legitimate talk of another double for Liverpool. The other semi-final at White Hart Lane seemed then to be between the also-rans.
Harford had a bit more time than he was expecting. Breaker. Markstein with the flick. Harford! Young coming in, so is Fashanu, and Dibble drops it, and a penalty. It's quite right. Dibble certainly held the legs of Terry Gibson. Absolutely no doubt about it. So John Fashanu with the chance for his 21st goal of the season to make it 1-1. And he takes it in such a simple fashion. All the applause is now at the other end of the ground. Cork, oh yes, it's Little Wise. Came from nowhere as far as the Luton defence were concerned. Bobby Gould there to join in the congratulations, but probably trying to tell his players to calm down. This is not a time to let the fact that you're in the lead go to your head, and he knows that.
And when they got to Wembley, it was a Wimbledon head that turned the form book upside down.
Here's Beardsley. This is Houghton. Barnes is waiting, but and Barnes is still there against the post. And away by Vinnie Jones. And Wimbledon may well thrive on a free kick in this position. And Sanchez was in there, and that's a goal for Wimbledon. There is Aldridge, Beardsley. Well, he might score here. Penalty. Good year on Aldridge, and here we have high drama because Aldridge, who I think might have been replaced a moment later, is the penalty taker.
The first penalty save in an FA Cup final completed Wimbledon's tale of the unexpected. At the start of the last full season of the decade, there was a new symbol at the head of BBC sports programmes, and a new style match of the day.
Come on, it hasn't been that long. You know it. Of course you do. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
The BBC had a new deal with the Football Association and the programme title was amended accordingly. FA Cup coverage now started in November.
Longer. Howell, 2 defenders were up with him. John Cooper's there. They're appealing for offside, and Furlong has put the ball in the net, and Enfield have taken the lead. Well, are we going to see one of the shocks of the first round here at Southbury Road, Enfield? But Orient may have other ideas. Ward here with the shot, and it's in. They had other ideas, and Paul Ward had the best one.
Enfield eventually knocked out Leyton Orient, and the cameras focused on another giant-killing act at Rockingham Road, Kettering, in the second round.
Mayhew, Brown. Yes, the diving header on the far side by Cook. Reese takes it. Oh, does he squeeze it? And he has. Two waiting. Moss, Cook. It's 2-1.
The excitement of the FA Cup draw now came live to BBC viewers, although nobody could have foreseen what one particular third-round pairing would do for suburban Surrey.
Number 60.
Sutton United.
Number 11.
Against Coventry City.
And Golly, and Rains, and a goal! And they have done it! And Tony Rains, the left back, is the hero of Sutton, for the time being at least. And now Sedgley, and Phillips has made a run from left back, and there's danger here for Sutton United, and Phillips has put Coventry City level. Mickey Stevens takes the corners on both sides, so we could look for another good delivery from him. Here's Dawson. Oh, and driven in! And number 11, Matthew Hanlon, followed that in. And Sutton have done it again from a corner kick, bringing this little ground to life once more. And the Coventry defence was standing still. Well, it's going to have to be last gasp stuff now if Coventry City are going to save themselves, as 8,000 supporters, most of them, of course, following the underdogs, wonder just how much more time the referee will allow after the 90 minutes is up. Robin Jones at right back concedes the corner. This could be Coventry's last chance. Peak, off the line again, this time I think by Rodgers. Smith, wide again, sliced it. Well, Trevor Roffey in goal there has been mighty glad of the help of his own defenders on a couple of occasions when he could do nothing about it. They've scrambled a couple away from the line for him. In this tremendous cup tie atmosphere. And there it is! Sutton United of the GM Vauxhall Conference have put out First Division Coventry City, winners of the FA Cup themselves less than 2 years ago. Barry Williams' finest moment. And what a moment to enjoy for the fans of this Surrey side down in the stockbroker country. They've had their moments before, but never one like this. Twice in front. The second time they were able to hold on. Both goals from corners. And Sutton United write their name all over the third round of the FA Cup in 1989, following in the footsteps of teams in the past from outside the league who put out First Division opposition. There haven't been too many. When it happens, it's headline news. And the headlines today belong to Sutton United and Barry Williams.
But anything that Sutton or anybody else achieved in the FA Cup became irrelevant one dreadful Saturday in April.
It's been a black day for football. On a sunny afternoon at Hillsborough, Sheffield, no fewer than 93 football supporters died in the most tragic accident for the sport ever in this country. Jimmy Hill and I were there, and it becomes the sad duty tonight for those of us normally concerned with the lighter side of television reporting to deal with a sombre subject. First of all, of course, our sympathies go to the families of those concerned.
The final death toll was 95. The crush started outside the turnstiles in Leppings Lane, forcing police to open a door and admit hundreds of fans just before kick-off. They were allowed into the two overcrowded central pens, where those at the front were trapped by the fences. By the time referee Ray Lewis stopped the match at 3:06, the worst had happened. Even then, the full extent of the tragedy was not immediately apparent. Help finally arrived for some, but for 95 others, it was too late. The horrible truth of British sport's worst tragedy gradually unfolded in front of a stunned nation, which could do no more than share the grief of Merseyside in a poignant period of mourning. Liverpool's playing staff attended all the funerals and gave much support to the victims' families. When they felt they could face football again, they went to Old Trafford on a Sunday lunchtime 3 weeks after the disaster for the replayed semi-final.
That's searching out Johnny Barnes on the far side. He's free. Barnes, great save. Aldridge. A goal. John Aldridge. Liverpool in front. There's Chapman. Oh, McMahon made a mistake and Clough couldn't quite get there, and Webb had a deflection and that's gone in. It's a goal for Nottingham Forest. Barnes again. Houghton. Beatrice. Oh, it's gone in! Tommy Gaynor couldn't stop Aldridge getting in. And Liverpool are back in front. And they still find their own player, Aldridge. That was beautifully done again. Oh, and that's going to be an own goal, is it? Brian Laws. And Liverpool may now be in the cup final.
It was perhaps appropriate that their opponents at Wembley should be their near neighbours Everton, so that Merseyside could pay its final respects. What was needed now was a match to lift the spirits of those who'd suffered but still felt the game should go on. It did, and it was one to remember.
This is Nicol looking for McMahon. Good through ball. He got away from Ratcliffe. Oh, and John Aldridge in a great position. And Liverpool have scored in their first attack. Watson heads it forward to Cotty. Sharp. Chances here. Nevin. And outside him a chance too. And Grobbelaar. And it's gone in. McCall was in there. And Everton have equalised. Nicol. Oh, there's Rush in there. Rush! Goal! Ian Rush! Liverpool back in front. Ratcliffe. Watson's up. Here's McCall again. Oh, yes! It's 2-2. And it's the same player. Stuart McCall. Out. Whelan. McMahon. Barnes. Rush! Goal!
So a decade of compulsive action ended with Liverpool winning the Cup and Match of the Day celebrating its 25th birthday. The faces of the 80s had helped keep the programme at the forefront of television sport.